Welcome to the Explainer. So today, we're going to be exploring an absolutely critical, yet honestly often misunderstood, phase of the ISO/IEC 42001-2023 audit process. We're talking about tracking and managing ISMS audit follow-up actions. You know, it's really easy to treat an audit like a final exam, right? You get your results, you file them away in a drawer somewhere, and you're done. But in the realm of AI governance, that simply doesn't work. We're going to look at how we can actually transform those audit findings from, well, administrative headaches into a true engine for continuous organizational improvement.
And this brilliantly illustrates that the true life cycle of a nonconformity is really a journey. Think about it. Day one, that isn't a failure. It's a diagnostic finding. It's the starting line. By week one, that finding is transformed into an officially assigned action. Month one, we're actively tracking progress. And by month three, the improvement isn't just claimed, it's actively verified. See, an audit finding is this dynamic starting point for better AI governance. Definitely not a finish line.
Okay, let's dive into this and break it down into 4 key stages so you can really master this post-audit phase. 1. The audit aftermath. 2. Designing follow-up actions. 3. Tools for tracking those actions. And finally, 4. Verifying and documenting success.
All right, starting with Section 1, the audit aftermath.
Think of the audit aftermath, kind of like a medical diagnostic checkup, but for your AI management system. So, a nonconformity is simply any instance where your practices, processes, or procedures somehow deviate from the established ISO/IEC 42001-2023 standard. It might be an outdated risk assessment or maybe a gap in employee training. But here's the thing. Finding this gap isn't a disaster. It's just a symptom. It's a red flag telling us, hey, your system has a vulnerability, and that requires a thorough diagnosis rather than just treating it as bureaucratic red tape to be filed away.
So, when that red flag is raised, who actually responds? Well, this is where the lead auditor steps in, and they act very much like an active project manager here. Their initial response involves 3 vital steps. First up, they absolutely must meticulously document the nonconformity. We need clear, objective evidence of that deviation. Second, they've got to engage senior management. This is incredibly crucial, because without leadership buy-in and resource allocation, fixes just stall out. And third, they don't just point out the problem and walk away. They actually assist the organization in digging deep with root cause analysis. We have to understand exactly why the failure happened in the very first place. Moving right along to Section 2, designing follow-up actions.
Once we know exactly what went wrong, we can start building our treatment plan, and this plan is split into 2 distinct halves, corrective actions and preventative actions. Now, what's really interesting about this is how they sound so similar, but they actually do very, very different jobs. Corrective actions focus on fixing the immediate root cause of an existing issue right now. Think of it like retraining a biased AI model with clean data. Preventative actions, on the other hand, are all about the future. They focus on stopping that issue from ever reoccurring, like, say, implementing a strict new data screening protocol. You literally need both to truly secure your system long-term. Actually building those actions requires a really solid plan. It all starts with that root cause analysis we mentioned. The 5 whys technique is fantastic for this. Basically, you channel your inner toddler and just ask why repeatedly until you hit the foundational issue, ensuring we're curing the disease, not just treating the symptoms. Next up, you need to establish clear ownership. Someone specific must be accountable, right? Then set realistic, time-bound goals. Because let's be honest, a goal without a deadline is really just a suggestion. And finally, align everything with the PDCA cycle. Plan the fix, do the work, check the results, and act to standardize that improvement.
All right, Section 3, Tools for Tracking Actions.
Okay, time for a quick reality check. Even the most brilliantly designed action plan will completely fall apart without strict accountability. You generally have 2 routes for tracking all this. First, manual action logs, like spreadsheets. They're simple, they have a low cost, but they require constant manual updates and are definitely prone to human error. Then you have CAPA software, corrective and preventative action platforms like QPulse or Master Control. The pros here are a real game changer. Automated reminders, centralized tracking, real-time analytics, the whole shebang. The trade-off, of course, is a higher resource requirement for setup. But, for complex AI systems, automation is often the only real way to guarantee accountability. It's an essential tool in the lead auditor's tool belt. So the crucial point is, regardless of whether you use a basic spreadsheet or a high-end software suite, your tracking system has to have a few absolutely non-negotiable components. You need crystal clear task assignments. You need regular action review meetings just to keep the momentum going. And you really need automated reminders and notifications so deadlines aren't slipping through the cracks. But most importantly, you must maintain transparent audit trails. You have to be able to prove to an external auditor exactly who did what and when to fix a nonconformity.
Which brings us to our final phase, Section 4, verifying and documenting success.
Let's move to and see how this builds our final layer of defense. Because just tracking the completion of a task isn't enough. We have to verify that the fix actually worked in the real world. We do this through a multi-layered approach. Step 1, conduct follow-up audits to physically inspect the changes. Step 2, monitor key performance indicators, or KPIs. If your action aimed to reduce error rates, well, your KPI should definitively show that downward trend. And step 3, which honestly gets overlooked way too often, is gathering employee feedback. The people actually using the system daily, they will tell you instantly if a new control works or if it just created a totally new bottleneck.
Once that verification is complete, it all comes down to documentation. In the eyes of ISO/ISO 42001, if it isn't documented, it literally didn't happen. You must detail the nonconformities and their root causes. You have to meticulously record the corrective actions you implemented, log the outcomes of those follow-up audits and KPI reviews we just talked about. And then you've got to communicate those reports up the chain to stakeholders and senior management. Only when all of this evidence is gathered and communicated can you formally close the loop on the nonconformity. That is exactly how you verify the system's integrity.
Taking a step back from all the procedural details for a second, it's absolutely vital to anchor everything we've just discussed to this core philosophy. ISO/ISO 42001-2023 is built around the principle of continual improvement. The audit, the root cause analysis, the software tracking, the follow-up verification, none of this is about punishment, not at all. It is entirely about taking the incredible power of AI and ensuring we manage it safely, responsibly, and simply better tomorrow than we did today.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on as you evaluate your own systems. Is your organization treating audits as a simple checkbox, just a painful administrative task you have to endure once a year? Or are you using these audits and the rigorous follow-up actions we've explored today as a true catalyst for continuous improvement in your AI governance? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this gives you the tools you need to go out and refine your own audit follow-up strategies.